Oh yeah, I'm going on Twitch right now. I'm also record on OBS. That's what I'll do, you know. Um, all right. Yasmin, if you're there, you let me know if you could hear my sultry voice. Opala Kia 11. That's you, Yasmin. That's Maria. Oh, Maria. Awesome. Maria, always appreciate your support of me and Alex. Always trying to do something crazy, connect so much technology. Got this going, which is nice. Um, yeah. First time doing the thingy thing. Oh, where's the elevator music? Boom, 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 boom. Dum boom dum dum boom boom dum boom 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 ratatata boom da buck da da boom da buck da boom da buck boom up da buck up da buck Can you hear Alex as well? You shouldn't actually be able to hear him because he's not activated. You let me know in the chat, poor faves. No, Alex, good. All right. Boom, dump, 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 boom, dump, 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 boom. Da bum da ba da boom dum da da boom ba da bum da boom da bum da boom bra da 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 All right, 807. We're gonna use the number 7 as our lucky number today, and let's get this show on the road. Yeah, yeah. All right, everybody. Welcome to the first ever episode of, maybe it's called Lucins Lounge, maybe it's called Lucins Lounge live stream. Not quite sure, to be honest with you, but what am I doing here? So what we're doing is a brand new series. This is the Lucins Lounge live stream, podcast stream, doing everything live over here. And what we have going on is a whole bunch of creativity, a whole bunch of testing, a whole bunch of just jumping out of the plane and building the parachute on the way down. I'm pretty decent at doing that. I've done it a couple times. And so this is definitely one of those examples where I'm just jumping out of the plane, building that parachute on the way down, figuring it all out. So today, have tons of computers connected, tons of software connected. Of course, some of it failed, and but we're just gonna roll with the punches, and that's what it's all about. Just troubleshooting on the fly, multitasking at the same time, and figuring some things out. So what I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to invite our first guest. Our first guest his name is Alejandro Gonzalez. I could just call him Alex. That's what he told me to call him. And this guy is one of my best friends. We've known each other since around 2007, and we have been creating together a lot. We have been doing so much together. Really parallel with each other's businesses in each other's lives. He is a fraternity brother of mine, so we have a very close connection. And just as of recently, we've really been going in at doing just leveling up altogether, leveling up. He's been helping me level up my business, helping me level up my nonprofit, and we're gonna figure all of that out today, because the question for today is, what does Steve Lucin do? And I think Alex has a pretty good idea of what Steve Lucin does. And so I'm going to bring him out into this sort of podcast stadium that we got going on over here. Let's see if this if Alex will be kind enough to join us. Okay. Yeah. I think we got Alex over here. Alex, holler if you hear me. Can you say what's up?
Yo, man, it's cold outside. I need you to let me inside, man.
What you mean? You are inside.
I'll say frio.
Yeah, we got a winter storm, a nor'easter coming in the northeast of the United States over here. You are inside, right, bro?
Yeah, we're gonna get a whopping 2 inches in New York City. Will you wait?
Whopping 2 inches? That's nothing.
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be like, what, 8, 12?
It's apocalyptic over here, over half an inch. You know what I'm saying?
I know people get really nervous and crazy whenever there's some sort of storm coming along, but I think it's good to do so, because when we don't get nervous and out of our comfort zone, then we get smacked by something that's really harsh, and then boom, we got Hurricane Katrina up in your place, you know. So we don't want any disasters like that. So, but Alex, glad you're here. Really love you from the bottom of my heart. You've been by my side indirectly and more so directly as of recently, and really want to understand a little bit about you, and then we're gonna answer that question that I had earlier. But yeah, Alex, how about you introduce yourself? Who are you, and why should people care?
Oh man. Oh, that's crazy. My name is Alex. You know, like Steve mentioned in his intro, I'm one of his fraternity brothers, and we met way back when at a cool event. We have a cool story when we met. I actually stole one of Steve's designs from the internet. And this story always comes up, but
I love
it's a
it.
great way
I love
to
it.
break the ice. And I was printing shirts at the time, and I was looking for a specific design. I found one on the internet. I printed it, went to a barbecue, and this random wacky guy runs up to me, and he's like, "Yo, that's my design." And I was like, "No, relax, buddy. You're like blowing my high right now." And he's like, "No, that's mine." And you know, he looked it up on the internet and showed me, and he was right. That was the one I ripped, and it's been very fun hanging out with him since. And you know, I had my own printing business. That's kind of taking a little bit step aside right now, and we've grown creatively in the past couple of years. I'm also on the board of directors to support creativity, which is something we'll touch on a little later. But it's a scholarship organization that we're both members of and operate and run. And yeah, a lot of creativity between the two of us, a lot of fun, and we're now on this new journey of fatherhood together, which is also pretty fun. And yeah, it's just a lot of laughing along the way, and I think that's like the best way to put it together.
I like that, man. Yeah, you're definitely a clown. You make me laugh. You make me feel good. We create together. We brainstorm a lot together. We make moves together. We party together. That's very important. Very, very important in my relationships, that I party with my friends, my colleagues, my teammates. I think I learned that very early on in my career. One of my mentors used to party with him hard, or should I say, he used to get me really, really twisted. And and now he's a CEO, which we'll get into in maybe in another episode. But yeah. So Alex, please help me answer this question because this is
Mhm.
what I want. This is what I want people to understand in me coming out with this stream podcast live situation. Um, I just want people to understand, like, what does Steve Lucin do? Can you can you can you answer that?
Man, it's like which one? Like which Steve Lucin are we talking about? I mean, there's so many layers to how you operate and what you do. And I think I don't even know which one's more important. They're all like equally valuable, but I feel like your this term came out recently in one of our sessions with a bigger team. But I would say like community leader is a big
Mm.
nice way to put it together, because it you use your creativity to not only bring designs together and bring brands together and elevate people's brands, but you use your creativity to bring people together and to help other people. And so you're bringing people together, you help elevate people's lives, you present opportunities, and you create. You are a mastermind at the countdown, at designing, at After Effects, at wowing people, right? With your Adobe expertise. And so yeah, it's fun. It's fun riding that wave and brainstorming, because yeah, I can't mess with After Effects, but I know somebody who can. And listen, that's a great friend to have.
Yo, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. You mentioned I like community leader. I definitely do see myself as that. I remember making a conscious decision saying, well, let me go back like maybe my high school years. I never thought of myself as a leader. I always thought myself as a follower. I go into college. I see the fraternity brothers of La Unidad Latina, Lambda Upsilon Lambda Fraternity Incorporated, and I saw that they were all leaders on campus. And I was like, I want to be a leader like them. I want to grow to be that. And I joined that fraternity and they kind of threw me into the fire of being a leader. I quickly became president of Alianza Latina in college, eventually being president of the chapter as well. For those who don't know, I went to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which is an engineering school near Albany in upstate New York. And then as my career went on, I would fall back from being a leader, go forward, fall back, go forward. But it's always been a trendward a trendward up in terms of being my true self of leading the way, trying to bring in positivity, trying to bring in love, creativity, and it did start with those times in college because I was going to be an engineer, and I was going to drop out really because I was doing bad in engineering. And then my fraternity brothers, who Alex is a part of, um, they all encouraged me to just switch my majors to electronic media arts and communications, which in essence is graphic design. And I would say that was the best decision of my life, because ever since then I flipped my grades around, started loving class, started doing everything that I loved, and which involved with Photoshop and video editing and learning all these creative tools that I had no idea that existed. And I just continued on with that, right? Straight out of college. I graduated in 2008 when the market was still tanked. It was trash at the moment. So I went straight into grad school and wanted to learn more about creativity, wanted to learn more about design. Again, RPI wasn't a great design school. It was a great engineering school. So I wanted to learn from better designers. And that's why I went to Parsons, the new school for design. And that's where I learned how to animate. Fell in love with animation, right? So I started my sort of creative journey of just being a graphic designer, going into animating. And then from there, graduated in 2010. I think this is kind of where some of my leadership started to form a little bit more, because I needed to get a job. I needed to get out of college. Yeah, just get a job, right? But nobody wanted to hire me, and so I was forced to become an entrepreneur, right? A freelancer back then. I called myself, and that's when I needed to just understand the ins and outs of being a full-time freelancer, a full-time creative. And then little by little, like just by me posting and showing off like what I was doing, I was attracting certain people, other creatives. And then that's what helped me become or started my sort of leadership journey past my college career. And then I know, Alex, you touched on support creativity, that you're also on the board of. When I established my business, we also started this initiative. It's a scholarship program, essentially, especially back then. And I think that's where I learned to take a stand of what I value. And one of those values is education, and the fact that education should not be wild expensive. I feel that education should be free. I'm gonna stop right there because I've been rambling for such a long time. But Alex, yeah, what do you think about education being free, and yeah, why are you still on this ride with me?
Um, yeah, well, I think it's important to give access. And I think that the population that and the reason for you starting support creativity is a very important touch point for me, right? And we go back to Pedro, and we go back to him not being able to access. Pedro was the first recipient of any help from Steve Lucin in this fashion. And so pretty much the reason for creating support creativity. And so this young man was coming to Steve for some mentorship, was being educated on just designing and animating and just being a better designer. And when it came down to applying for school, this young man was undocumented. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of resources for young men or young people of color who were undocumented to have access to higher education. And so, as painful as it was to help that young man find some sort of help or resources, there was also that level of frustration where I was like, man, F this, I'm just going to help you myself. So, Steve took it upon himself to just help this young kid out, push it forward. And that hit home with me, because it's a big part of why we're in the fraternity and why the fraternity exists, is to help other men of color like ourselves who have similar backgrounds to move forward and do better and have that access that we both want to give younger men of ourselves, younger men like ourselves, younger people. We're both dads at the moment, and I'm sure that that's in the back of our minds all the time, is to make sure that these young women can be prosperous and be successful and do it for the fact of their skill, not necessarily because of anything else, right? Because they're that good. And so we want to give this guy that opportunity. Steve did that. Lo and behold, a few years later, we have a over $35,000 given out to a bunch of students, over a bunch of jobs and opportunities and events and arts and connections and collaborations that we've been able to have. And hell yeah, would I not want to be a part of that? That aligns and like I said, just hits home with where I come from and who I am and what I've done growing up. And so, yeah, I wish I had this nearby when I was going to school, but that doesn't mean I can't jump in and help the next generation out, right? And so, yeah, I'll ride with you on this. And it's a dope. The whole creation of it, the whole manifestation of it is super amazing, man. So, and we're on a really good route, man. You wanna touch on that, or that's another time to talk about where that's coming, how support creativity is
Yeah,
doing.
nah. We gotta hold that off for another episode for sure.
That's
But
a teaser.
yeah. But so support creativity, boom. right? Fraternity, boom. Education, boom. Um, let's talk about hallucinated, right? Because
Who's that?
you've known me
Who's
as
that?
hallucinated, no?
Who is that?
Yeah, because I have my business hallucinated design, right? Now sort of rebranded to hallucinated studios. This being one of the studios, by the way. And then you have addicted designs. And why? Yeah, like what's our connection there?
On the design front, I think it's just creativity, man. I think we listen back in the day, we in your little apartment uptown, we at one point the way we hung out was sitting at your table with beer and our laptops, doing our own work, but just doing work for clients, doing work for people that were, paying us to get jobs done, and using each other as a backbone for creative selection, right? And creative direction. It was like, yo, does this look whack or is this good? And we'd school each other, right? You teach me tips and tricks, and then I'd help you with the Greek life, and vice versa, right? We'd like come in and do all of that together. And that, I think that helped. I don't know if because both of our names have some drug reference there, if that's helpful, but there's we have another buddy named Vicio, he's another one, but that's for
Vicio
future.
Vicio means vice in Spanish.
Yeah, and we all get along pretty well. So I think it's just creativity, man. I think it's being able to express ourselves in whatever platform we like, and whatever software we is, whether it's an event or it's like, there's so many ways that we express our creativity, and those are our outlets for it. It's like it only goes hand in hand.
Creativity is our drug.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Because like this what you see right here, we're in like a crazy looking pyramid right here, and this is a stage design that if anybody can guess where this stage design is from, I'll give you a million high fives. And but long story short, I love stage design, and with under the hallucinated brand, what I learned is that I love the entertainment and nightlife scene, because with nightlife, well, first of all, my first sort of love in design was being assigned by my fraternity to design a party flyer. So that was my first design. It was a party flyer for in college, and that's what I started doing a lot of design of. Party flyer for our organization, for other organizations, for other clubs. It grew to be for other DJs, record labels, and so on and so forth. Fast forward to 2012, I go to my first rave at Electric Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas. And wow, like that was just so inspiring because of all the creativity in that environment. So imagine the Las Vegas Motor Speedway just filled with so many lights and lasers and colors and people dressing up, and these stages were so creative. I mean, I'm talking about a huge owl that like just looks at you. And I mean, these are the EDM stages that you see nowadays. But, back in 2012, it was brand new to me. And I looked around and I remember being in the crowd and saying, I could do all this. I could do better than this. So I went home and I researched, how to get into it, took a class, and fell in love with the idea of VJing. And I think that's where Hallucinated has been going towards, right? Alex, do you remember the first time, I guess, you saw me VJ? And then like, cause you VJ with me, right?
Yeah, we do that too.
So was that
Man, we
or talk about that time, I guess, when you saw, I think we were at
damn,
lot 45.
where was that?
I think it was lot 45 in Bushwick.
Oh
for
yeah, we were at Lot
a
45.
a We Are House 78 event.
Was it?
I think so.
You know, you know, damn, who was it that DJ that night? I found out later they were going under Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger, Jeremy and GC. Cloak
That
and
was
Dagger,
them.
or that
That was
was one
Jeremy
of
and
them, I
GC.
feel. That was one of them. Yeah, Cloak and Dagger was definitely one of them.
Shouts to Jeremy Giros and
I think.
GCOG of Mad Flavor.
Don't quote me. Somebody
Oh,
correct
don't
me in the
quote
chat,
you.
but
Uh,
I think I'm pretty, somebody. Yeah. Well, anyway, we were there. You told me you needed some help. I had a studio nearby. I believe this was the story, and then you told me you had to go pee and to push some buttons, and I was super scared, and I pushed one button, and I saw what it did, and I was like, "Yo, this is cool. I wanna continue doing this. Let me know when you need more help." And you fast forward a bunch of years, and holy potatoes, man, do we have a whole lot of gear between the two of us right now?
yeah. So VJing is animating and mixing visuals live at concerts, parties, clubs, festivals. And the high that I get when I'm able to match the visuals to the music and influence the energy in the room of a party, it's just phenomenal. It's fantastic. I really, really love that. I'm very passionate about that. And so this stage that I was talking about, uh, during these podcasts, or after the podcast talks, I do plan on VJing and showing you what that is all about. Um, the creativity gods or the connection gods today, though, said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't get too hype." And so we might need to leave the VJing for the following episodes. But enough about that. Going back to Hallucinated, yeah. So we are now starting to stream, right? And stream, with the studio that we built out here in my home. We are building we built a studio where we could invite DJs over, do some projection mapping, green screen them out, green screen ourselves out, put ourselves in whatever environment we want, add visuals and effects to the whole thing, and stream that out, kind of like how we're streaming right now. And this whole streaming, I guess, game or technology really became more forefront because of the pandemic, right? I feel like we're still in the pandemic for sure. COVID is still like part of our lives. And with me moving sort of away from the city, I now live in the suburbs of New York City in Westchester. Um, Wanted to build still a place where we could get creative. Alex was here actually earlier today, connecting things, helping me rock out with the technology and the software on the back end of this podcast right now, and still create. That's what was missing in my life the past 2 years because of the pandemic is creativity. Pandemic forced me out of my Times Square office, where that's where I was building community. That's where I was inviting people over. That's where I was telling students to come over and check out the space, the environment, the people, the creativity. But yeah, pandemic forced me out. Had to go into my little small apartment, and that just wasn't enough. And I thank God that, and I'm super grateful that we were able to buy a home over here in Westchester in Pleasantville. And one of the rooms is now just my home studio office. As I also become as I also became a full-time father. I have a beautiful daughter named Aria. She's 14 months as of right now, and maybe we leave the fatherhood stuff for another episode too, and we'll talk about like how that has been affecting me in good ways, but just influencing the things that I do and the decisions that I make. Um, but let's uh let's shift over now, right? That's Hallucinated. We talked support creativity. That's more like nonprofit stuff. We talked our fraternity, which kind of like is the foundation of it all, right? Our values, in education. We talked about Hallucinated, more of the entertainment, the nightlife, creativity. But fast forward to, yeah, like pandemic times, really. when I asked you to come on board. Like how did that play out with the stevelucin.com brand?
That was an interesting time. The world was falling apart. Um, a lot of things felt like they should have been going wrong, but that felt right and it was going right. And it continued to go right for a lot of months with the type of work that we were doing. Um, it was a really cool opportunity and a cool environment to be in. Um, like you said, pandemic hit, and what my business was affected tremendously, and I
What what
too
what
am a
what was
father.
what was your business? So for the
Well,
people to know.
I was printing all sorts of merchandise, anywhere from t-shirts to mugs and coasters and tiles and stuff like that. And one of the bigger things was graduation sashes. Pandemic hit in March. Pandemic hit earlier than that, but New York City and New York State and the United States shut down around March, and so graduation season was it. And so a lot was shut down. And so move with what needed to move, and at some point Steve reached out and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll help you out, why not. I've been wanting to help out Steve for a minute, but because I was so caught up in what I was doing, there was no space or time for me to devote to that. And so it was just a great opportunity, right? Things were just lining up. I had time, Steve needed time, and so we made that happen. And like I said, really cool opportunity. We did some really good positive work with a lot of non-for-profits, handling a lot of like virtual galas, which was something that we started to focus on as the year went on, and produce some really cool work, really creative work, really professional work. And yeah, it was really dope just seeing the back end of things, and learning from so many creatives, and being able to put forward such a dope product like that. I like putting dope things together, and I like putting out a cool product, and that, yeah, why wouldn't I tag team on a cooler project that I can do now with a full team as opposed to by myself, you know?
And we built the team together. Like, I totally connect with you by when you said, I just like to put out dope things. Yo, I think that's why
Yeah.
I'm a designer, creative. I just want to do dope
Yeah.
shit. I just want to do dope shit. And inspired at the same time too, right? Because it's like anything is possible. I truly believe that anything is possible. You just gotta execute, put your mind to it, execute, fail a bunch of times, and figure it out. And you can do amazing things. And yeah, throughout the pandemic, I mean, just for those that don't know, we pretty much figured out how to create a virtual gala for these nonprofits so that they could continue fundraising throughout the pandemic. So one of the first ones that we did was for BRC. Shout outs to BRC. They help the homeless. They provide services for the homeless in New York City. And yeah, they were about to cancel their gala. Their annual gala, which that brings in a good chunk of money. And they heard about my story about live streaming. So that okay. So check this out. I helped, and Alex was involved too, and that's why I love it. You've just been part of this journey this whole time. So um the 9 a.m. banger. This is a party that starts at 9 a.m. It
Oh
started
my
as
God.
it
9
started
a.m.
as a
banger.
it started as a it started as a pregame to SantaCon many years ago. And it's just evolved to a big ass party that starts at 9 a.m. And the fellas there are my fraternity brothers. Big surprise there. But pandemic hit and they had to cancel their 9 a.m. party. Um, and then they were like, "Yo, Steve, can we figure out how to live stream everybody?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's figure that out. I know just the guy." And pull in my buddy Brandon, who I met through Support Creativity. He's an amazing broadcast producer, and he's like, "Yeah, 13 DJs. Yeah, let's do it. Let's figure it out." So me, him, and Alex, we went to his studio. He had the green room at that time, and literally we were there for 24 hours. Half the time, figuring out all the connections to the technology and the hardware and the software, to live stream 13 DJs who are in different places, right? Because it was pandemic time, so we were really trying to not be in the same room with a lot of people. This was at the height of the pandemic, the first few months, first couple of months. And so, long story short, we figured it out. We did it. We live streamed 13 DJs for 13 hours straight. And then we ended up raising $13,000 for the New York Presbyterian Hospital. So that there alone, I shared that story with BRC, and they're like, "Hey, can you help us live stream?" And I said yes. And for that, that ended up being designing a invitation to a virtual event, creating a microsite for the virtual event for people to log in and check in, so to speak. And then from there, we put together a show. So that's what the product really was. It was a 30 to 60-minute show that was very well branded. Branding is actually we haven't even mentioned branding, and branding is like a big thing for me, right? So it was very well branded with animated logos, lower thirds, transitions, so on and so forth. And then we live streamed that. And they ended up going from pretty much canceling their gala to raising over $1 million. That right there, I was able to inherit that result and just be able to provide help for so many other nonprofits to do something similar. And that was just some dope shit. And I was really, really proud of that we were able to do that, help others with our creativity, our technology. And it started from doing what we love. And that was VJing. The 9 a.m. banger gig, the live stream, we were involved because we were VJing in the background of the DJs. So we were controlling all the visuals and patching those in as the backgrounds of their live sets. And lo and behold, that one thing led to the other. It's just like it's a beautiful domino effect. Everything is connected. And it all comes from here, from the heart, from the passion, from the crave to just do dope shit.
Yeah. Craving to do dope shit. That's what keeps us coming back. And that's what keeps people around us. It's like magnetic. It's contagious. It's like when energies are good in the building, a lot of dope shit happens. A lot of the collaborations that we've done in the past have been cool people and cool shit happening, right? Damn, so many different experiences to chat about. Future, Art Basel, other VJ gigs. Not tonight, later though. We gotta make them wait.
Yeah, we could definitely go deep into each one of those. And so what does Steve Lucin do now?
How it's like eating a lot of kid snacks and drinking some Capri Suns and shit, changing some diapers throughout the day. Or really just leading this team that's working with you to create these dope brands and elevate and clockwork these brands, as well as fostering a really dope relationship with your daughter throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout your whole time being with her. It's just taking that at-home dad role for real, which is super dope and commendable, right? It's like, yeah, let's love these damn kids and have fun with them and be silly during the day, but then rock the fuck out at night and really do what we got to do efficiently and rock out at these gigs and get creative and inspire people and create just on a different level. It just, it's the same sort of energy, it's the same sort of atmosphere and passion, but the tools are different this time around. It's almost like you switched your palette up a little bit, but the energy and mojo is still the same, right? So your creative juices were unleashed these last few months in creating this studio. If people haven't seen some of the behind the scenes, check out Instagram. You'll see some cool little time lapses of Steve pulling out his drills and his tools and getting to it. But all for the love of trying to just create dope shit, right? And so that whole energy is brought forth, and today is our first attempt at doing some cool shit, and I think it's pretty cool, and we're going to keep doing some more of it. um Trying to invite some dope people to do some dope shit with. So if you think you're kind of cool, you can apply. There's a long wait list, I tell you. Hold on though, don't think it's just easy to walk up in here and try to get a little seat in the studio, but you know what I mean. um but yeah, man, holler at us. You want to do some cool stuff? You have some ideas that would be cool to chat about, or even see yourself in? Like, we're all with it, man. This is a great opportunity. It's like a no mess situation. There's no paint splattered anywhere. There's no art supplies left anywhere. It's really just a couple clicks of some buttons, a couple of beers, and everybody's having a good time.
Yo, I absolutely love it, man. Like it's quite the ride. It's I always define creativity as connecting things. And boy, like I can't wait to do a video on or an episode about just all the different connections that are happening over here in terms of technology, in terms of software, in terms of people, in terms of ideas, in terms of yeah, all this equipment. And yeah, we're definitely having fun doing what we love, which is creativity, max creativity, max creativity, connections, creative connections. And so, yeah, going into 2022, right? We're at the end of January. The idea here is to continue doing what we love. Definitely, going ham on the streaming DJ VJ side, but also bringing back some of my services that I had to pause during the pandemic, and that's some more graphic design, some more animation, some pretty much social media support for small businesses and nonprofits, right? And that's what Alex here, as well as the rest of the team at Team Lucin at stevelucin.com are helping me to do. We I've been blessed with these people who have helped me sort of help my business run like clockwork, and we're here to help, right? We're here to help with the creativity, the designs, the animations, the video editing, the questions on software, the questions about these technology, right? Like I got my master's in design and technology at Parsons, and I think that's why I'm like so passionate about all this work that's that we're doing, that we're connecting, that we're figuring it out. So please reach out at stevelucin.com. Alex, he's an integral part of the team. The team has helped me. He mentioned the fact that I'm a father during the day, giving a lot of love to Aria. So the team has helped me be able to focus on my daughter. And we'll talk about that in another episode too, right? About like just how to clockwork your business, so that the owner has more time to do whatever it is that he needs to do. In my case, it was to raise my child, because my mom is going to work at school. She's a college counselor. Maybe you'll meet her in an episode. And yeah, the team, I'm just so grateful, so blessed. I love everyone who has helped me throughout the journey, to get to this level where I'm literally 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Daddy daycare, and then like Alex said, we rock out at night, or I rock out at night with Alex too, because he tends to take care of his daughter as well during the day. But yeah, it's like it has blessed me with so much time, and I can't emphasize that enough for anybody who is trying to own a business, who is trying to level up their lifestyle. The clockwork methodology is phenomenal, fantastic. I haven't mastered it, but it has helped me to take paternity leave, and most importantly, be able to focus on my daughter during the day. So we could definitely get into that in another episode. But awesome, man. Alex, this is definitely not the last time we're gonna see you. In fact, I think you're gonna be the reoccurring guest, because it's just weird talking to the camera by yourself, right? And you're there with me all the time. So, I think we'll be able to pull out some topics from each other, with each other. But I do plan on having other members of the team. You'll get to meet Yasmin, you'll get to meet Laurie, you'll get to meet Kevin, and then I'm definitely going to invite the community and chop it up about all sorts of design and technology and the business of creativity. And we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna learn. You're gonna learn with Lucin. And like I said, we're here to support. We're here to encourage. We're here to inspire, educate. If there are any questions, comments, or concerns, always, 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 always shoot us a message. Leave some information in the chat. Leave your contact, and or just contact us, and we will we'll always be happy to help and figure things out. Alex, any parting words for this
I want to
very very
I
first
want to shout
episode?
out I want to shout out these folks in the chat that are
Yes.
so cool. We got a week capture. That sounds interesting. We have a Yasmin Estrada. Hey Yasmin, what's up, girl? We got a James L. Motley. I've heard of this guy, man. I think I've heard some good things about that guy.
Hell yeah, he's an inspiration. James, if you're down, it'd be dope to have you on this podcast at sometime in the future for sure. That's an inspiring dude. And We Capture, that's Brian Nunez right there. He created We Capture Media. Excellent videographer, excellent services, excellent person, most of all. So definitely check him out. We Capture Media. Um, I'll give
Cool,
you
cool.
whoever could figure out who did his brand. I'll give you a million high fives, and if you could figure out who did James L. Motley's brand too, I'll give you a million high fives as well.
Cool. We got an Opalakia 11. I think I know who that is too. That's Maria Potestas. She's I'm sorry, Dr. Maria Potestas. Let's get it right. Um, she's gonna be featured sometime soon. She's a higher ed professional, but really dope person, really dope administrator out at Kingsborough Community College, and we're gonna highlight some of the cool stuff that she's done. You know what I mean?
Ooh, love that, love that. And VCO, I see you. Thank you for always supporting me, brother. Love you so much. VCO is one of my other best friends from high school. We've been on this journey as well. If you don't mind, bro, I'd love to have you on this podcast, and we'll talk about all sorts of stuff. He's been a supporter since day one, since negative day one or whatever. Uptown's finest. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. We Captured, thank you for the follow. James L. Motley, thank you for the follow. Definitely appreciate you being here on day one of this podcast, of this stream. And so I guess with that, we're gonna just chime on out of here. And like I mentioned, we were supposed to do some VJing. Uh, Technical difficulties came through and said, no, 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 don't get too hype. So we're gonna have to leave that stuff for the next time. But until next time, remember to always do what you love what you do, and occasionally you can do something crazy. Love you all and have a good night. Peace. We're gonna stop streaming right now.